Hello, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator to break up an image. This is going to be useful if you like to do your own wall vinyl art, but you have an electronic cutter that has size limitations of say 12 by 12 or 12 by 24. So what you're going to start off doing is you need to select your shape that you'd like to do. I'm going to actually go ahead and do this tree that I found on the internet. I just googled the oak tree clip art and found this. So I'm going to come and I pasted this image right here. This is actually a raster image. So we need to start out first by tracing it. You can do this by going up to Live Trace. Okay. And I like using the preset of grayscale for this image. Okay, it's going to go ahead and give you an example of how it's going to look. Let's bring our maximum color number to 6. So right now it's looking for 6 different colors within this image. You're going to get grays and whites and black and so all in between. So let's go ahead and make this the minimum of 2. Okay, and so right now these two colors are going to be black and white. Let's go up to our tracing options dialog box, and I'm going to click on Ignore White. That way it's seeing the white and it's seeing the black, but it's going to ignore that white. So I'm going to click Trace, and that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to expand this. Alright, and that kind of sets it in stone and it accepts the trace. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move this over, okay, and we need to make this this image the size that you would like it to be on your wall. Now you may think, what are these blue and these green lines that are there? These are actually something that I set up. Do you need them? No way. It's just something that I found useful for me. If you need the file, go ahead and contact me, and I'm more than happy to send that to you. Each of these green squares represent 1 inch. Each of these middle blue lines represent a 12 by 12 inch area, and each of the inner lines are an 11 by 11 inch area. It basically takes into account a 12 by 12 mat with an 11.5 or 11 inch by 11 inch cutting area. If you use programs such as Make the Cut, you might recognize this as being the no cut zone. Alright, so that's really all I've done. Like I said, you don't need these. You will want the rulers, however. So here's how you can do that. You can select the selection tool. You can right click on the mat. Actually, make sure nothing's selected. So I'm just going to click off that and now right click, and you'll see how it says Show Rulers. Okay. If you don't want your rulers in a weird unit such as points or picas, you can come down to inches or centimeters or whatever you're more familiar with. And then if you want to set your origin, you just click on this top left spot of the rulers and drag down to wherever you'd like your origin to be. Okay, you'll notice now that 0, 0 is at this point right here. Okay, so now we have our traced image. We have kind of our area set up. Let's go ahead and cut this image up. Okay, so let's make this about a 2 foot by 2 foot image. I'm going to go ahead and select the corner of the bounding box with my selection tool, and you'll notice how I can now resize the shape. If I want to constrain the width and the height, I can go ahead and press Shift key and hold that while I move it, and you'll notice now the height and the width is constrained. Okay, let's see, about 2 feet seems pretty good on my longest dimension, so that looks good right there. I'm going to go ahead and drag it over just a little bit. Now, for ease of viewing, I'm going to go ahead and turn off all of my guides and my grids. Okay, you can do that by going up to View and going to Guides and clicking Hide Guides. Okay, and I'm also going to hide my grid as well. Okay, now we need to go ahead and cut this image. First, we need to define where we want it to cut with. Let's go ahead and use a pen tool and kind of draw our line. Let's go ahead and click right there and click right there. Okay, that looks pretty good, except I'd rather have this, it's a little bit crooked. I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo that last click. I'm going to press and hold Shift key and click there. Okay, now we have a straight line. If I go into the outline mode, you can go to View, Outline, or press the shortcut key of Ctrl Y. You can see there's our pen line we just drew, and there's our original tree image. Okay, I'm going to go back into preview mode. I'm going to go up to Object and come down to Path and divide objects below. Now this is basically going to use the line that we have selected that we just created as kind of like a track if you were to run a knife straight on that track. Okay, you'll notice that the track then goes away, that line goes away. However, you'll see that it's actually cut right in here. Now if you're going to take your selection tool again and move this around, you'll notice it's not really separating. Some of the pieces that aren't touching, or that weren't touching before, are separated, but the actual spot where we cut it is not. I'm going to press Control Z and put that right back into the same spot that it was before I moved it. Now here's the important thing, is you need to go ahead and select this, right click, and click on Ungroup. Okay, that's the key right there. That'll be frustrating if you don't get that. So now we're going to go ahead and just select that top portion. I'm going to right click and group that together. We're going to select the bottom portion. I'm going to right click here and group this together. Okay, and so now we have our two shapes that we can cut. I'm going to go ahead and turn my grids and my guides back on. Alright, so that looks pretty good. It'll fit within our area. Alright, now you can go ahead and actually copy and paste this directly in to make the cut. So I'm going to copy, go in to make the cut. Make sure you do a paste in place. And there it is. It's actually kept the same size and everything. So you are now ready to cut. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. If you do want that vinyl guide, go ahead and let me know and I can go ahead and get that to you. Anyways, good luck with everything. Let me know if you have any questions.